Hey everyone, Dr. Mark Supernaut here, Family Healing Chiropractic, Charlotte, North Carolina. Hope you guys are all having a great and blessed day. This morning, we're going to talk about how the body was designed to heal. You guys have heard me say this probably a million times. I know I've said it a million times, but I still get excited about it every single day. I just love the way that God designed the body. And I just finished my radio show, and I was talking about this in a way that people just don't understand is that we've been our paradigms changed about how living, how life is, how our bodies, how health is. But if you start to really look at how God designed the body and how God designed living organisms, it's pretty fascinating and amazing. Is that when God created the living things of this earth, all living organisms have this adaptability, coordination factor. They want to thrive, they want to survive, they want to procreate, they want to multiply. And it's kind of this the way that this was designed. And in living things, we call this innate intelligence. And this innate intelligence is so fascinating to me because if you take a plant and you turn it away from the light, what it's going to want to do is it's going to want to turn back towards the light. Why does it want to do that? It wants to do that because it wants to survive. If you don't water a plant, what does it do? It tries to dig its roots down deeper and deeper. Why? Because it's trying to find water. It's trying to survive. It's like that weed in the crack of your driveway that I don't care how much you spray it, how many times you pull it, it just keeps coming back. Why? It wants to survive. Living things want to survive and adapt to its environment, no matter how stressful it is. And so this is what I'm going to talk about today is that the body was designed to heal. The body, your body right now is designed to heal, but you have to take some level of personal responsibility to understand that these are the things that keep my body active, healing, functioning, coordinating, and have the highest efficiency to be able to work and do exactly what it was designed to do. And so the body's designed to heal. The power, you guys heard me say this last week, the power that made the body heals the body. Chiropractors have said this for decades and decades. And, you know, so I first couple times I heard it, I just kind of rolled off my ears. And I just kind of didn't pay attention to it. But if you start to really think about the statement, it's pretty fascinating, is that the body is self-healing, self-regulating. The question is not, can it heal? It's like, but the question is, what's interfering it from being able to heal? You should ask, not can it heal? So when people come in here, I give them hope. I give them faith. I give them function. I help them to start to understand. It's like the body can heal. And I have faith that the body can heal from anything and everything the way that God designed it. But do we have enough time? Do we have the proper function? And are you doing the things that help the time and the functions that come along the way? What's interfering with it along the way? So when I was first introduced to chiropractic myself, this is the question that was posed to me. I had asthma and allergies. I took medicines for that. That caused headaches, so they gave me medicines for that. This is all when I was a kid. So the medicines I took for headaches caused stomach ulcers, so they gave me medicines for that. And the medicines for the acid reflux that I started causing from the Tylenol and aspirin I was taking, they gave me meds for that. That caused digestive problems. And so it's like one thing after another, after another, after another. And so finally, one day somebody sat me down. I was third year pre-med, and she says to me, she goes, listen, you should go see my chiropractor. And I'm like, why? Like, it didn't make sense to me because for decades, for almost half a century now plus, the American Medical Association and the medical industrial complex have seen chiropractors and other alternative forms of healing as threats to their livelihood. And so in the 60s, they put in propaganda into their education that started smearing chiropractors. In fact, there was a chiropractor, Chester Wilkes, that sued the AMA, which is the American Medical Association, is the largest union in the whole wide world, and he won twice. And so what he went about, because they found documents that showed that they kept perpetuating this myth that chiropractic is unsafe, that it's not good for you, that it's going to harm you. And people, medical doctors, still to this day, medical people, I still hear it from patients on a regular basis. It's the same thing. It's quacks. Don't get your neck adjustment, all this stuff. And it's fascinating to me, and yet not, that a myth has been perpetuated for so long, for almost half a century more, and that it's still going strong to this day. And so, but you start to understand this academic advisor said to me, she goes, listen, you should go see my chiropractor. And I thought chiropractors were quacks because I was brainwashed 3 years into pre-med. And so she goes, listen, you you can go to a chiropractor that's going to help you with neck pain or back pain, but you don't have neck pain or back pain. I had asthma, allergies, headaches, stomach ulcers, and digestive problems. So she says, I want you to go to a chiropractor that works with the healing power inside the body, and there's something that's blocking that healing, and you need to figure out what that is. And so I went, and he started explaining this to me. He started saying, hey, look, your nerve system controls everything. And this guy was a student. He was a chiropractic student. So he wasn't even a full doctor yet. He was learning, but he was training under doctors. But it was fascinating how he educated me, what he taught me, and what I learned, and also the results I had. He said the nerve system controls everything and coordinates everything, every cell, every tissue, every organ. Healing happens only through the nerve system. Once you lose that function from your brain, once you lose your life in a second, what happens is you no longer are able to heal because the body doesn't have that light turned on anymore. This is where the healing, this is where the coordination is. And so sure enough, I went, he took x-rays of me. Like I saw the x-rays, saw how bad it was. It was a disaster. You're supposed to have in the neck, when you look at the neck from the side, you're supposed to have this curve like a banana. I had no curve in my neck. I had zero curve in there. And that zero curve in there was creating so much tension and pressure on my nerve system. Of course, this was affecting my asthma, allergies. Of course, this was affecting my headaches, my stomach ulcers, my digestive problems. I started getting adjusted. I started coming off of medications, and my body was able to start to go through its healing process like it's supposed to. Because when you restore the function back to the nerve system, then the body's able to do exactly what it's designed to do and how it's designed to do it. See, the symptoms, my symptoms were not my problem. My asthma and allergy was not really my problem. It was a sign that there was a function, a dysfunction going on. There was a function issue going on there. The symptoms should point to us that there's something bigger going on inside the body. Just like when your oil light comes on in your dashboard, the oil light's not your problem. That oil light is just it's to point you that there's some kind of bigger dysfunction going on. If you thought the light was the problem and you take a piece of black tape and you put it over top of the light, guess what happens? Your car's going to blow up. The engine's going to blow up because you're ignoring the fact that there's a function issue. So when you start to put symptoms out with medications and shots and GLPs and all of these things, peptides, all these things, if you're covering up symptoms, then you're not getting to the functional issue at the core. And covering symptoms is not the same as restoring function. And that's what the chiropractor told me. And I was like, man, I still remember the guy's name. His name was Robert Muschamp. He was from Canada. I still remember him. I mean, I knew him for a semester and that's it. He was gone, but he adjusted me. And within months, 3 months, I come off of all 4 of my medications, haven't taken another drug in 31 years for any of those problems. About 14 years ago, I did take 2 Vicodin though, because I ruptured my Achilles, and there's a time and a place for medical. I'm not crazy. But what you need to see and understand is that always you should be looking for, how do I restore function so my body can heal itself, not what can I do to cover up the symptoms. And so nerve problems create bigger issues than just the pain itself. Pain is often the first warning sign. And the crazy thing about it is pain comes into, like, the function issues are there way longer. The pain is one of the last resorts. By the time that the pain gets there, it's already, the function problems are already been there for a long time. The same nerves that affect pain, they also affect the function. So long-term nerve stress leads to bigger problems. So pain is the smoke, function's the fire. And so I love that statement there, because think about this, is that if all my nerves that are going to my heart, if I cut the nerve to the heart's going to die. If I pinch the nerve to the heart's going to die slowly. And as that heart is losing its function over the course of 10, 20, 30, 40 years, what starts to happen is symptoms will show up. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I have headaches. Maybe I'm lethargic in the afternoon. Maybe I start having high blood pressure or high cholesterol issues. I'm having issues here. My body's trying to tell me something's going on. There's functional issues. But we typically don't address the functional issues. What we typically do is we'll try to hide the symptoms. And then the function issues start to get worse and worse and worse. And again, people say, well, this is not chiropractic. I'm like, listen, chiropractic is not about getting rid of your neck pain and back pain. Chiropractic, the way that we practice here in this office is we want to restore full function there. It's not just so you have less aches and pains in your neck and back. We want you to be able to heal at the highest level and prevent cancers and heart diseases and diabetes. We want you to help prevent the sicknesses and diseases and the aches and the pains. We want to help you function at the highest level so you can be the best mom, dad, husband, wife, brother, sister, coworker, neighbor. You can be the best of yourself when you're functioning at the highest level. But when you're losing function, you start to have less ability. Think about if your phone functions at 100% on a day-to-day basis for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden it starts functioning at 80% or 70%, meaning it's working slower or some of the things aren't working on it, you're going to get a little irritated with that. And as you become more and more irritated with that and the function keeps going down, you're going to just be like, oh, I just need to replace this phone. But like with our bodies, this happens to us, but we've been perpetuated this mind psyop or whatever you want to call it, propaganda that we've been fed is, oh, you're just getting older. Oh, it's just genetic. It's your family. Well, if you believe those things and you fully release responsibility to your doctors, then you feel like there's nothing you can do. Well, don't you think taking a walk today would be way better for you than laying on the couch? Don't you think eating healthier foods today would be way better than you eating crappy foods? Like, that's what you start to need to think, that I've got responsibility for my own health, my own life, and make sure that my body's functioning at the highest level. You can't expect your car to work well if you don't put the right fuel in it, right? You can't expect your car to work well if you don't do updates or you don't do maintenance checks on it, okay? So you've got to start to think the same way when it comes to your body. Couple patients this week, and this will kind of just illustrate exactly what I just told you about my story, but this guy's story is amazing. Cal comes in. He's been coming in for like 10 years, and it was never really just about neck pain, but that's what brought him through this door. He heard me on the radio about a decade ago, came in with neck and shoulder problems. And the crazy thing was, every time he looked down like this, he would start to pass out and have these heart palpitations. And he didn't think anything of it, went to the doctors, got checked up and everything like that. And they thought, okay, everything's good. Excuse me. And so what ends up happening is I start looking at his nerve charts and I start looking at his x-rays and his scans. And I showed him on one of his scans that the nerves that were going to the neck and the shoulder and the nerves that were going to his hands that were causing the numbness and tingling. We look at the nerve chart together and he's like, wow. He goes, these are the same nerves that go to my heart, my lungs. And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, so do you think this is affecting those things as well? I'm like, well, of course. It's there. Does that mean that you have to have heart problems right now? No. But is it working as efficiently as it should? He goes, when you said that to me, he just said this to me yesterday in this office. He said it to me yesterday. He goes, when you told me that 10 years ago, he goes, I thought you were crazy. He goes, because doctors had done all these checks, never found anything. He goes, 3 weeks later, I had an atrial valve issue that put me in the hospital for 3 weeks. And he goes, all I could keep thinking about was that chiropractor, that kept telling me 3 weeks ago that this also affects those things. And I said, Cal, I didn't know if it's going to happen 3 weeks later. I didn't know if it's going to happen 3 months later or 30 years later. The thing is if the connection's not there, if the brain's not communicating to the body just can't heal, can't do what it's supposed to do. And so now he's back again because he started having some of the same symptoms again. He's like, man, he goes, life gets busy. I got distracted. He's been an on and off patient for about 10 years, but he's like, man, he goes, I know this is the place I need to go to restore function back to my body so my body can do what it's supposed to do. Another patient came in last week from my church, and it's crazy with Mary. With one adjustment, it changed everything for her. But when we did a checkup on her, she has all these symptoms. She's taking, she doesn't like to take medications, but she's taking certain medications. She's got energy issues. She's got thyroid issues. She's got headaches. She's got numbness and tingling in her hands. She's like 32, 33 years old. And when I took an x-ray and I did a checkup of her spine, her posture was way off. And we did these weight scale balances and I checked the spine with my hands. I could feel her spine. There was all kinds of indicators that she had major stress in the nerve system that wasn't allowing her brain to communicate through the nerve supply like it's supposed to. When we took the x-rays, it told us everything. It told us that her spine has been in an environment of stress for a very, very long time. Her cervical curve that's supposed to have a 40 to 45 degree curve like this was minus 15 degrees the opposite direction. She was the wrong direction. And on top of that, she had this 51 millimeter forward head posture, which means you're supposed to have 0 millimeters of forward head posture. Your head is supposed to be directly over top of your shoulders when you stand. Her head is 51 millimeters out in front of the center of the cervical spine. And so no wonder she had that. That told us the environment that she's had the stress from the nerve system. But no wonder she's been going through all these things and she's young. And typically doctors are just like, yeah, we don't know what's wrong with you because you're too young to have all these things. And with the first adjustment, she told my office manager, Ruby, she goes, I don't know what he just did, but it's like 10 to 15 years of damage disappeared with one adjustment. And so we've had statements like that before, but here's what happened. I didn't adjust her for any of her symptoms. I adjusted her to improve the function of the brain communicating to the body better. And so the body could communicate to the brain. When that happens, the body can adapt, it can coordinate, and it can do what it's designed to do, and it can function at the highest level. That's the whole goal. And her body responded the way it's supposed to. Now, some people are like, man, I've been to chiropractor, I've done this stuff before, but my body didn't respond that way. Everybody's body responds differently. All healing takes time. See, if you have your body function at 100%, I told somebody this yesterday, if I could snap my fingers and make her spine look perfect and take away all the stress that she's had over the last 50 years, and then all of a sudden, as I take all that stress off there, her nerve system starts working at 100% today, it would still take time for the brain to find the areas and repair those areas that have been damaged for so many years. She's still got the functional issues. Still there. Talking too much today. I just finished my radio show, so you guys get me with a crackly voice and coughing. So last slide, the goal is not to chase your symptoms anymore. You got to find the cause, restore the function, improve adaptability, express more health. If you have less interference, there's better function, there's greater potential. So let me unpack that for you. See, the thing is that we look for, and if somebody comes in with neck pain, I'm not looking for, oh, it's this nerve that's causing that pain. That's not how it is. You could have problems in your lower back that are caused by damage or stress to the nerve system up here. I had one lady that came in here years ago, 75, 78 years old, been to 3 different podiatrists, foot doctors. She had this nerve pain in her foot, whatever they kept calling it, all this kind of different stuff. They did all these treatments on her feet. She went to physical therapy. She went everywhere. She comes through here and I take x-rays of her spine. As I take x-rays of her spine, she's like, she called me Sonny. Yeah, that's what you, when you're old and you're young. I was really young. I was 30 years old at the time. She goes, Sonny, she goes, I just told you my problems with my foot. You didn't even look at my foot. And I said, every doctor that you've been to has looked at your foot to try to find out if there's an issue. And these are foot doctors. They didn't find any problems with your foot that they could treat. I'm looking at why is that foot not healing? And the healing doesn't come from the foot. It comes from the brain. And so we need to know what's going on with your nerve system. And sure enough, she had major issues just in the neck, not even her low back, which is way closer to the foot. But all the nerves, even down to that little toe in your leg, comes from up here. And so I said, we've got to restore that function. And if we don't restore that function, the body, and I adjust her one time in the neck, her foot problem went away. That's what happens. And again, call it quackery, call it sorcery, call it whatever you want to. It's not. What it is, it's your body healing the way that God designed it. That's all it is. But you have to restore the function. You have to make sure it's working at the highest level. If you're out there, if you want to contact us, our phone number is down here. Our website's on there. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day. Great week.